This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Well, joining us today is Mike Friedman, the head of investor relations at Zenova Group. Hello, Mike. Thank you very much for joining us again. How are you doing?
Fine, busy. Glad to be here, the usual.
Indeed. Well, it's good to be talking to you. Of course, some news today that you have got the EU certification for the FX fire extinguisher, and that also ties into the first delivery of the FX 500, where he delivered over 13,000 units of the extinguisher. So, I mean, first of all, let's just pick up on the EU certification, because this is a very big milestone, isn't it? This really does give you that certification that other businesses, other potential buyers would want before committing to purchase.
Yes, the actual, who's out there right now that is holding back, subject to these certifications. We're learning that at the moment, but obviously we move up the regulatory scale, and we're much more attractive to larger institutional buyers who are subject to the most stringent regulations, like council estates and the NHS and so on. So it's a big deal. We are also keen to point out, as we did in the release, that we believe it puts us in a competitive advantage, or in a position of a competitive advantage. Reading some of our competitors' comments on certification, it's a bit hoary, the language. It's difficult to divine whether they have actually gone through the same rigorous process as we have. Again, just a small clarification, you'll see in the release as well that the actual physical certificates are due by the end of the month. But yeah, we interestingly, we had to certify the fluids and the kit itself, and the extinguishers. So it's a multiple win for us.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad that that is out of the way for you. And this does, of course, tie into that big order from the United States there of 13,654 units to be exact. And this is, of course, through your distribution agreement that you have over in the United States with Omnis and I forget the name of the company, but Omnis, and they've supplied to Petra, who are the consumer technology distributed for over 80 brands. So what is the strategy here really for distribution? Because, of course, you recently announced the partnership with Dulux, which again is another method of getting your product, that's the FP paint, but through a partnership. Is it you following the same strategy over in the United States? It's really through partnerships.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we need partners to do the heavy lifting on distribution. We're a small company. We need to leverage those partnerships. That's why they're so important. And that's why investors, as I referred to today, stakeholders generally should take a great deal of comfort, whether it's certification or delivering on these partnerships, that we are leveraging arrangements like this in order to punch above our weight, frankly. So, and getting confirmation like we have now on all fronts, on the paint side here with Dulux, on the extinguisher side in the US with Omnis Petra, and now being able to sort of push on to the next level in terms of customer base, where we're continuing to penetrate both distribution channels and product channels. Where can our product be sold? We've just enhanced it with certification. We've enhanced geography through these two major arrangements, and we're delivering on those arrangements. So I'm not sure. Well, there's always more to do, but I'm not sure I could be more pleased at this stage. We both announced the arrangement, and then we execute on the arrangement. That's almost a corporate ethos at this point for us.
Hmm. Well, this deal's worth, what was it, £136,000 or thereabouts that you hope will be recognised in the current financial year.
Yes. And
Okay.
we hope that number will grow, but of course I can't comment on that.
Yes, indeed. Well, we would like to talk about, of course, KPIs, forward-looking statements at some point. I'm sure we will get a bit of an idea of the strategy there. But I do want to ask something a tiny bit just on, you've got this certification, which is obviously a globally, an EU recognised certification there. But also, your extinguisher can actually extinguish lithium battery fires as well, isn't it? You're looking to get that officially certified?
Yes, we are. And yes, we do. Or yes, we do, and yes, we are.
Okay.
So it's a major what we feel is qualitatively at this point a major growth area. It continues. I follow the sector quite a bit. More so now for obvious reasons, and we're pretty confident that this is going to go from a concern, if you like, from the regulatory side, from the insurance side, to a mandate, and that's what we're hoping for. And at that point, obviously, our higher specifications will kick in. Okay. So, impacting that particular market, infiltrating that particular market. Of course, we're going to be forward leaning, but we're looking for regulatory help as well, which I think is not unreasonable to plan for.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of growing the sales of the extinguisher through the United States, would be through your partnerships there and driving those forward. What about for Europe, the European Union, or the rest of the world, or indeed to direct to consumers? Because I recall that you do want to get a bit more active on Amazon, for example.
Yes, and we've I believe we've announced this. We've made inroads in distribution channels in Germany, which is obviously Europe's biggest market. So we're making that initial play. I don't have anything further to announce, but we're very hopeful about continental Europe. But we want to consolidate, obviously, what we've done so far. We in the US and the UK, we also, you'll recall, had that win in Greece. In the solar panel roof interdiction. Both types of paint on the interdiction side and the cooling side. So we're hoping and expecting further orders in that space. If not broader, where we've had a market breakthrough. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just move on and talk about the FP paint. That's the fire protection paint. And of course, recent news about the Kensington and Chelsea Council placing an order for the paint through the Dulux Decorator Centre. That's the distribution partner that you announced not so long ago. They're going to trial this on the initial 3 buildings, but they actually have a portfolio of over 9,000 managed properties. And I think a comment from the CEO from that RNS says this endorsement from Kensington and Chelsea of Zenova FP fire protection solutions will facilitate sales across the UK council housing estates. So could you perhaps just give a bit more colour to how this deal came about, how much involvement you had, and what your hopes is of what it sets going forward?
Well, personally, I was not involved. This is one of the higher profile backers of the company. Made that breakthrough. Been working with the council for quite a long time. It was, in this market, translating it into sales is all, at this point, they seem to care. The market seems to care about, and we will do that. But at the risk of being over enthusiastic about something which the market has been a little bit more circumspect about, this is a big deal. This is a very big deal for us. As you say, it's a trial basis. Obviously, the proof is in the pudding. We're very confident that trial will go well. not very confident. We know that trial will go well, virtually, and as you say, the entire portfolio is massive, and as well, Kensington and Chelsea, in terms of institutional buyers potentially, its name resonates obviously with people in this space because of the tragedy that occurred, and we know that, and we feel and we know that this is a council which takes this particular area very, very seriously. Mm-hmm. And it will impact, we feel, the other councils when they're looking to retrofit their buildings as well. Yeah.
Would you look to communicate both to the market on the outcome of this trial, but also, of course, to the general, well, for the wider councils around the country, or would that be something that you would kind of leave to the partnership with Dulux to do?
I think the latter, in all likelihood. The first question is an interesting one in terms of what we can or would announce, what we would or could be privy to. Mm-hmm. I'll have to come back to you on that one, and to the market. Anything which we could be made aware of in terms of progress, we would certainly consider releasing if it's deemed relevant enough to warrant an RNS or even an RNS reach, because we want to expand and deepen our communication with the market. I think shareholders should rightly be looking towards the website for a refresh and greater information, and generally, but more specifically, to Thomas Melchior's Twitter, where he can more easily comment on developments like this that may not warrant an entire RNS. Again, we're trying to leverage a very tight staff. And Thomas is keen, after the terrific successes we've had of late in terms of penetrating markets and opportunities and executing and so on. He's keen to start talking more to social media via that channel, and I'm encouraging that. And we're hoping you and I or myself and your group, to do a proper Q&A for investors with Thomas sometime in the near future, where he can really go into the nuts and bolts of the product, of course, in the sales channels, in the developing opportunities we have on the specific characteristics that where we're distinguishing ourselves from the competition.
Okay. Well, that sounds very good. I look forward to that, Mike. It does sound to me at the moment like Zenova is sort of, I don't want to say turning over a new leaf, but sort of it had a new lease of life, or a new fresh of energy, a new wind in its sails. Things seem to be really kicking on. I know that you, before your position here in the company, were a very large shareholder in the company. You certainly liked what you saw for the company, and it led you to effectively end up in this role. How are you feeling personally, having seen where the company was when you first invested and got excited about the idea, now being at the cutting edge of it? What are your feelings and thoughts on the prospects of this company going forward, where you are now?
Well, obviously I'm very biased. I'm genuinely excited, genuinely encouraged. The things that I think the native investor should be looking for are evident here. We've got strong evidence that of uptake of the product. That in itself, in an old economy industry, should be very exciting for people, and it is for me. I think we are developing a resistant shell as we gain first mover advantage in many of these spaces against competition. There's no guarantee of that, but I think the brand is fast becoming associated with niche fire interdiction, and as well as continuing to invest in R&D. We I have been privy to new product that's being worked on. That ticks another major box for me as an investor, as well as being, just internal to the company and excited about it, because we want to continue to innovate and therefore continue to get associated with these types of solutions that customers are looking for, where in the end traditional paint and or extinguisher manufacturers won't be able to as easily compete with us. So we're trying to do it the old-fashioned way. We're trying to be nimble. We're trying to find the demand, create the demand. All of this creates a degree of protection against competition. It's not a guarantee, but we're doing the right things. And of course, most importantly, we're embedding ourselves with customers who can grow, because they're big customers. They're going to be satisfied. We have I never did, but less so now, any concerns about the efficacy of the product continues to be validated. Obviously, today's announcement is a great example of that. And we've got this market, at least part of this market, to claim for ourselves. And I think we're doing the right things to grab onto it and the right things to protect it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Mike Friedman, the head of IR at Zenova Group.
Pleasure. Thanks a lot.
All right.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.